Hi, and welcome to the second video of our Shadowing Week series 2021. We are here joined by amazing Oxford students who will be here talking about their sort of day in their lives and also about their extracurriculars. And yeah, we'll just start off by each of them introducing themselves, what they do, their colleges, their courses, and also about the extracurricular activities that they do as well throughout the year. So we'll start off first with Michael.
Hi everyone, so my name is Michael and I'm a second year French and Spanish student at St. Peter's. And like the kind of direct extracurricular stuff that I do is mainly around sport. So especially like in my first year, I did quite a lot of athletics, mainly running like 400 meters. And I also do quite a bit of football as well. So kind of at Oxford, you have like college and university kind of separated. So normally I play like once a week for my college, and this year I was hoping to play a bit more for the uni, but Corona kind of, put a bit of brakes on that. So unfortunately I didn't get to play as much as I'd like to, but yeah, that's kind of the main things that I do. I think like I also do a little bit of access work. So I'm like a modern language ambassador for the university. So I kind of help out on open days, and I've worked on summer schools like uni, which is really fun and would highly recommend. So yeah, that's kind of the main things that I do.
Amazing, thank you. Darcy?
Hey guys, my name is Darcy. I study philosophy and theology at St. Peter's like Michael, and I'm really into drama, as you can see the stage behind me. First year I did quite a few shows, and when we had an online term I also did a radio play. I'm also in a chapel choir, which means I have to sing 3 times a week, every week. And I also do lots of access stuff like Michael, so I was access rep for ACS as well, and I'm access rep for my college. But I love drama, and it's great to perform in Oxford, and I'd love to tell you guys about it today.
Thank you. And last but not least, Skai.
Hi, I'm Skai. Biology second year at St. Anne's College, and my thing is mainly like photography. I would try to have like a background image, but my background just like was not having it. But yeah, the main thing I've been doing like this year was being creative director for Onyx magazine, like their 3rd edition. And then first year I was also the junior PR rep on the ACS committee. So yeah, I'd like to take some time to tell you about that as well.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much for your introductions. So my first question for you guys is, what does your average day look like in terms of studying and contact hours, and also in relation to extracurriculars? How is that ingrained in your like timetable or how you schedule your time? So I'll first go to Skai for that.
So with mine, it kind of like varied throughout the year, because when I was doing the like ACS PR stuff with like biology in first year, that was kind of more like a little bit like every day, like maybe like a half an hour bit every day, just like checking socials. And then when there would be events, I would kind of go to that. And so my biology work would be about anywhere from, I guess, 3 to 4 like in-person contact hours, depending on if we had like a practical or something. And then about like 3 hours of like independent study kind of like in the afternoon, depending on it. And then when it came to like doing Onyx stuff, that kind of switched off a little bit because they were actually like making a magazine. So sometimes it would be about like 4 hours of like Onyx work like every day in a week to like do the like design, that kind of thing. But I feel like with mine it's quite varied because like there's different deadlines for different things. So with this, once the magazine was actually done, there was basically like nothing to do in terms of like creative direction. So then I could just focus on my work on biology. And then with my own personal photography, it's a thing where I would kind of have that like on the back burner for a minute, like thinking about ideas, and then I'd go out one day and like spend the day doing a shoot or something, and then come back, and then that's done for like the next like couple of months. So I think it's quite versatile, and I end up like being able to like split the biology like 5-6 hours a day with like the other stuff quite easily, depending on like what I'm doing.
Nice. Darcy?
Because I'm a humanities student, I have nowhere near as many contact hours as Skai. So in a week, the most I could have in a day is probably 2. So a lecture and a tutorial, maybe 3 if I have 2 lectures, but that hasn't really happened to me. So it means I have a lot of free time to sort of do lots of reading and catch up on essays, which is what you're meant to do. But if, for example, I have a show week, you're literally bombarded with, rehearsals, and there's a call time, which means you have to be at that theatre at that time, regardless of whether you have a tute or not. And particularly when you're working in professional theatres, so not like the Keble O'Reilly, for example, which is a student theatre in one of the colleges. But when you're working with actual theatres like the North Wall, the Playhouse, and people are paying real money, you have to be there on time. Particularly also the week before show week, where you have like rehearsals the whole week, and you have to be there from maybe like 9 to 9, just like going through it and making sure everything is perfect. It can be quite intense, but it's actually really fine because you just bring your laptop along when you're not needed. You do reading and work, and people are very flexible. Same with choir. Is quite flexible in terms of, if you can't necessarily make a rehearsal or a thing because you have to catch up on work or whatever, they can be flexible because, they understand we are in Oxford and it can be quite intense. But yeah, so not that many contact hours because I'm a humanities student, but when I have busy events, you just have to sort of make it work.
Lovely. And Michael?
Yeah, mine's a bit more similar to Darcy's as well, because doing French and Spanish, there's not too many contact hours, but I guess I might have slightly more than the average humanities student, just because I normally have like a few language classes each week for like both languages, and it kind of means that on one days I might have maybe like 4 hours of contact hours, and then another day I might have none, because I guess studying languages, it requires kind of a lot of reading of texts, and so it might be that you're like spending most of the day in the library, or like half the day just trying to like brush up on that. So it kind of does vary a lot depending on what you have to do and like when your essay deadlines are. But I find that it kind of works quite well with sport, just because like practically normally sport is either quite early in the morning or like fairly late. So like normally athletics was kind of like 6 or like 7 in the evening. So it kind of meant that like during the day you could like get your work done, and if you had any contact hours, then like normally it wouldn't be any later than that. So you'll be able to go like straight afterwards. And I know that like kind of different sports, are like football, sometimes they train really early in the morning. So maybe like 7:45 or like 7:30, just to allow people to then maybe to get to classes at 9. So it can be a bit of a rush, but I kind of find that when I do sport, it's like really important for like my mental well-being, just in terms of kind of getting active and like not having work being like all consuming, and finding time just to allocate to something else, just so like you have a bit of variety in your day. And like, I don't know, I quite enjoy the social element as well, because I guess now when you're training on your own, it's a lot different to when you have all your friends together.
Amazing, guys. Thank you so much. And I think in relation to what you were saying about sports, a lot of the sports at Oxford, like if you do at uni level, it requires you to like go really early in the morning, as opposed to like, for example, when you do photography or if you do acting, it's kind of spread throughout your day. But I remember I tried to do rowing in my first year, and they said 6 a.m. boathouse. I said, who? So yeah, but there are alternatives as well, depending on your schedule. That being said, in terms of how you get involved in these activities, what kind of inspired you to, what kind of inspired all of you guys to go into acting or photography or sports? And also, how do you guys balance these extracurricular activities alongside like doing your degree and also having a social life as well? So I'll first go to Michael for that question.
Yeah.
That was quite a lot, sorry, yeah. How do you get involved in like balancing?
Yeah. So I mean, initially I always knew that when I came to Oxford, like I wanted to get involved in sport. And I think I had actually never done athletics as like a sport before I came to Oxford, because I'd always done football. But it's kind of something that I was like always interested in. And like when I went to kind of the Freshers Fair, and just kind of like walking around, I just thought like I'd sign up and like see how it goes. And I think it's really good at the start, kind of getting involved in different stuff, because normally they have like a taster day, or the first couple of weeks of freshers, or like a couple of weeks of term, you can like go to events for free before actually like signing up and paying for a society. And I kind of went for a few weeks and found that I really enjoyed it. So I kind of just kept going, and like throughout the year. I think just like, if you don't know kind of necessarily what you want to do, then it's like such a great opportunity just to like try kind of anything like that you want to do, because there's no like massive commitment where you have to go every week, like week in and out. If you kind of like it, then like great, then you can stick with it. But if you don't, then like there are like so many other things that you can do that you never have to like, you can never really get bored in Oxford, because there is too much going on at the same time. I think just like in terms of balancing it with like academic commitments, I think definitely scheduling is probably like the most important thing, just so that you kind of know when you want to go, because it's hard to keep a track of everything that's going on. And also like sometimes being like slightly strict with it, because it's easy to kind of be tired and be like, oh, I don't really want to go. But like after you go, then you kind of feel a lot better. So just like trying to stay consistent with like a few things after you've decided what you want to do.
Nice words of encouragement. Darcy?
Yeah, I really just want to emphasize what Michael said there, because in the midst of everything you're doing at Oxford, you can get really bogged down by just having to work every day. And, you know, I've had those times where it's like, oh, I really don't want to go to choir, or I just can't be bothered for this rehearsal. I've just been reading for 3 hours or whatever. And then you go and you feel much better because that's something you're passionate about, or that's something you love. And I think always remembering that you've put yourself in this position to do these extracurriculars or whatever because, you know, you really enjoy them and you get something out of it. And, you know, you may have those moments where you don't want to go or you're sort of tired, but at the end of the day, you probably will feel better for going. So I'd say remember that. I think a thing to remember in terms of balancing these hobbies is prioritization. So in that particular moment, on that particular day, what do you need to prioritize? Is your essay due tomorrow? Prioritize the essay. Is the essay due next week? Prioritize going to this rehearsal because you've missed two before. So it's always about just considering the context you're in, what's happening on this day, what's happening tomorrow, and trying to prioritize as best as you can. In terms of how I got into these things, I've always really liked singing and drama, so I was fortunate to sort of know what I was interested in beforehand. But for those who aren't, just feel free to, you know, really soak up the Freshers' Fair, because that's a massive opportunity to be exposed to many societies. And, you know, as Meron said, you know, she tried rowing. I'm sure that's something many of us haven't tried before. So just make sure you open your eyes and like see what's around, and don't be put off by anything just because you haven't done it before, whereas some people have.
Amazing, thank you. And Skai?
Yeah, Meron, I just want to say I tried rowing in freshers as well, and like I went to one training session, and like the way that humbled me so badly, I couldn't go back. I couldn't go back. But with photography, I think yeah, like Darcy said, it was something I kind of knew I wanted to, like I was interested in before uni, and so when I came to uni, I was already kind of like looking for ways that I could kind of like get involved in that, and I feel like I was quite like fortunate with that, and like leading to Onyx, because at like I think one of like the first big ACS events, like the Black History Month, I was able to like exhibit some of my photographs and that kind of thing. And then that was like quite coincidental, because then like the current editor-in-chief of Onyx was like, oh my God, like that's sick, like come like chat to Onyx at some point. And then that just basically meant like when it came around to later in the year, I was able to be like, oh yo, like, do you remember me? Like, can I can I join or something like that? But I think like I definitely tried to like explore like hella different ways I could get involved in it. Like I went to Photography Society for a bit. I signed up like Oxford like Wildlife Society for a bit. So just like looking at all like the different kind of like avenues to like get involved in what you're thinking about. And then I think with like time management, again, like the personal kind of like self-led photography stuff, I can kind of like do that when I want to. But the hard thing for me was finding time to like slot it in and finding time to actually say, okay, I'm gonna like plan a shoot, I'm gonna like write this down. And like Darcy said, it's all about like having like prioritization skills, like knowing when you can afford, I guess, to take time out of like your degree to then put it into doing like that kind of work. And I think that isn't like, I feel like for me personally, that's like not the easiest thing to do, because a lot of the time you're just trying to meet the next deadline, and it's hard to like plan how you're going to be working in the future. So I think it's just like important to just like take some time out and actually like honestly think about how you're going to be working. But also not be too strict on yourself, because if you like set unrealistic goals, you're not really going to reach them, and then you're going to get upset about it, and that's going to like affect you more. So I think kind of like having like times where you're honestly thinking about how much you can get done, as in not even how much like you need to get done, but how much you actually can get done without like getting burnt out. And then you can kind of like think about how much you want to allow yourself in terms of like hobbies and that kind of stuff around it. And then you can kind of find like a nice little like meeting ground where you can split your time comfortably between the work and like the hobbies without feeling guilt about it.
Word. Thank you for that. And I just wanted to finish this off with the last question for you guys, which is, what advice would you give to someone when choosing activities to take part in when starting university? So this could be in relation to continuing something that they've already done before, for example, with Darcy and her acting, or just someone who just has just started university, doesn't know what they want to do. Like, what advice would you give to them? I'm going to go with Darcy first.
I would say have a balance of continuation of a hobby if you are good at something already. So my ACS daughter has, won national awards in athletics, and straight away when she came to uni, she became a blues for athletics. And that's something that she's done before. And she's come in and is continuing that. But I would also say, make sure you try and do something that you've never tried before. And I think it's just because, uni for most of the time is, it's a very, it's a space where you will never really have opportunities again. Like, when will you ever get to row again, really? The ski trip, when will you ever get to ski for like, half the price of what it actually costs? Like, when will you ever do origami in a group of 10 people also doing origami? Like, there are so many things that you can be exposed to that you probably will never be exposed to again. And you also have to remember, in, such a safe and sort of sheltered environment like uni is. So I'd say, just as I said, look at the Freshers' Fair. I still get emails from, like Quiz Society. I've never gone. I'm still getting the emails after 2 years, but it's there if I want to, try it and just see. So yeah, just be open. Mailing lists, you can unsubscribe if you want to. But also, like, saying that, think about what will, as Mary Kondo says, what will spark joy, and make sure you're not wasting time, because there's no time to waste in this place. Yeah.
Amazing, thank you. Skai?
I would say, like, don't be shy to like try things. I think I forgot that like at the start I went to like boxing society as well for a bit. I did like, I think one thing that I went to that I was actually so surprised about was salsa. Like, I'd never been salsa before, and I thought it was like bare weird going and dancing with random people, but that's like one of the best things that I was doing in first year. So I think literally, like, don't try and like limit yourself by being like, oh, I don't know that. Just try it, and like you actually might like enjoy it. So yeah, that's what I'll say.
Lovely. I'm hoping I can see your salsa moves.
Hey, yes, listen, as soon as this Corona thing ends, yeah, watch this space.
And Michael?
Yeah, I mean, I just like agree with everything like Darcy and Skai said. I think that just being like fearless and like really like going for whatever you decide to do, because you won't get this opportunity again. And I think at the start it's quite easy to be intimidated, because like you see the societies and it's like, I know, like, how am I going to get involved at the start? But like, as soon as you get involved, everyone is so friendly, and like everyone's so welcoming, because like everyone kind of wants you to get involved in what they also enjoy doing. So really just go for it, and don't think about what limits you have.
Inspiring, guys. Thank you so much. I feel like after this time I just have to join rowing again, experience. Be innovative. But no, honestly, it was so lovely hearing about your experiences. And I hope for everyone watching, this has really dismantled your perceptions about like what it is like to be a student at Oxford. We're not all just about our books, but you can get into a range of different things from like photography, acting, singing, sports. What else is there? There's just a lot on offer, and especially hopefully once you guys arrive here, you'll see that at Freshers Fair, there's a bunch of opportunities that you guys can get involved in with that doesn't require a lot of experience as well. But yeah, that concludes the video. Thank you so much all for tuning in, and thank you for our lovely guests. And we hope that you will tune in hopefully for our last and final video about finance and well-being. So yeah, thank you.